everybody, welcome to School of Scarlett. Today I have another message for you. Today's message is a really powerful message that I think we all need to hear. You may have already broken through the cycle that I'm going to be talking about, but maybe you haven't learned about the next step. So stay tuned to the very end so that you can identify where you're at in this cycle or if you're still in this cycle. So this is a cycle that we oftentimes get stuck in from a very young age. And so I'm going to describe a cycle of waiting on the Savior. So this cycle of waiting on the Savior is like we're waiting for someone to come save us out of a situation. And it starts very early on with first we identify that our saviors are our parents. So we cry as babies, we need attention, we need food, we need our diaper changed, whatever. We cry out to our parents. And generally, if we have good parents, they come and take care of us and they are our savior. And for a long time in our childhood, we see them as our savior. We go to them for everything that we need. And so there is this kind of cycle developing very early on. Then we start to realize things about our parents, things about our upbringing, things about our life. And sometimes a lot of times grow up in situations that are just not very healthy for us. Maybe there's abuse in the home. Maybe there's substance abuse in the home. Maybe there's just some level of, limitation, that maybe there's poverty or there's something in the home that makes it feel unsafe to you as a child. And so in that case, again, it's like you're seeking for a savior, for someone to come save you out of this situation that you're now in with your family and the unsafety that is occurring there. So then you begin to kind of fantasize of who will come save you. And this could be a teacher, this could be a pastor, this could be the neighbor. And you begin to fantasize that someone is going to come save you out of this situation. So this isn't something that we can shame ourselves about or guilt ourselves about. It's something very natural that happens to us. And we can look at this psychologically, but essentially we're on a spiritual journey here. So if you're on this channel, you know this. And so after that cycle, kind of dissipates or ends at some point, we're on our own. We become adults. We're no longer trapped in those homes or in those situations that felt like they were very unsafe. But now we are on our own, and there's an unsafety in trusting ourselves because we've never really trusted ourselves. We've always been depending or waiting on a savior to come save us. So as adults, we begin to look for a partner, right? People begin to look for, a boyfriend, a girlfriend. Later it turns into a marriage, thinking that this unit is going to save you. It's going to bring you stability. It's going to bring you love, attention, everything that you've ever craved. You think you're going to get it from another person. Only to find out, if you've been down this road, that that is not the case. You are still in the same space that you've been in. Even if you find the perfect partner, the most loving partner of this world, you're still going to have these feelings that, there's still something like you want someone to come save you. It can become something else. If you're in a pattern of abuse from a young age, you could even get into relationships that could be abusive. And then you have a whole nother situation of wanting to be saved in that situation. So then later it becomes wanting to have children, to fulfill your love, to do these things. And a lot of these things don't happen to us consciously. These are things that we are now can look back on. And, I work with people. I've been counseling people for many years, and I've, worked in the spiritual and in the psychological. So, this has been something that I've deeply analyzed with others and with myself. So this is just a pattern that we get into. Then, people have children and they begin to believe that, the child is going to fulfill them. But one day that child is going to grow up and it's going to go off and live its own life. And this is where we see empty nest syndrome, and we see depression, loneliness, and all kinds of things arise just from the children leaving the home. A sense of almost like not knowing themselves anymore. So this is a pattern, a cycle that occurs kind of in a loop. That I call the cycle of wanting to be saved by a savior. At some point, somewhere within that whole time frame, you may find yourself seeking for saving through, spiritual means. You may get involved in this religion or maybe this other religion, or this one didn't work and you go to try this. And it becomes kind of like this spiritual marketplace of trying all of the flavors of spirituality that are out there, and feeling like maybe this one didn't work, so something else will work, and thinking that, maybe it wasn't the right leader, maybe it wasn't the right pastor, maybe it wasn't the right teachings. So it becomes kind of like this cycle of seeking and seeking for a savior, seeking for something that's going to internally fill that void. And so what this is about, really, what this video is about how you're already breaking through that. You've been through all of those cycles, and it's not a coincidence that you're at this video right now. You're here because you're here to realize of this cycle so that you don't repeat it, so that you don't do it again, so that you realize by the end of this video what the truth is. So when we are in this cycle of seeking a savior, we're actually kind of helpless. We're actually kind of powerless. We kind of have a weakness in us because we feel as if we are not the ones that can save ourselves. We are not the ones that can take care of ourselves. We don't have the ability to do so. So we're seeking outside of ourselves for something that will save us within. So it's really a powerless state that keeps you kind of almost suppressed in an energy that you can't be your own creator in your own reality. And the thing about the truth of who you are is that you are a creator. You are the creator of your own reality. Only you've been creating the same loops over and over again based on the things that you know. And so I think Einstein has a quote about, insanity is like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Now, this is not to put anybody down. This doesn't mean that you're insane. It's a very natural human process. But at some point, we have to break free. We have to try something different. We have to break free from all of these things. And oftentimes, people will seek things that are an escape, an adventure. And you see, life is already bringing you on an adventure, but you got to break out of these things. And so if we don't break out from these things, our energy gets suppressed in a way that's almost like depressed. That's where, depression comes from, depressed energy. And so if we have depressed energy, we're going to seek still to have some sort of adventure. We're going to seek to still be saved in some way, and we've exhausted every way possible. So this is where we see addictions. This is where we see codependency. This is where we see these kind of unhealthy coping mechanisms that arise, and then we begin that cycle. Okay, so if you're identifying where you're at right now, if you're in any of these, just be aware of what's happening. And so the other thing that will eventually happen is you'll exhaust those. You'll go through those addictions, you'll go through those codependent behaviors, those coping mechanisms that are unhealthy, to exhaust them to the point where you might make yourself sick. You might make yourself not want those things anymore, or something will help you to realize that those aren't bringing you any kind of safety, any kind of relief. They're actually causing you more problems. So at some point, you'll let that go. And what will happen is that you'll begin to be directed more inward. And when you get directed more inwardly, you begin to see something. You begin to see something kind of sad, and it's not totally sad, but it feels sad when we first experience it, and it feels almost hopeless. And it feels almost like you have to release, like you have to cry, like you have to mourn this. It's mourning the loss of wanting a savior, mourning the idea that there is a savior. So you come to the realization that no one, and I mean no one, is going to save you here. Your parents aren't going to save you. Your husband or wife isn't going to save you. Your church leaders or your spiritual leaders aren't going to save you. Your religion isn't going to save you. Money isn't going to save you. Friends aren't going to save you. Alcohol, substances, whatever coping mechanisms, exercise, healthiness, nothing is going to save you. So you're going to come to that realization, because you're going to exhaust these things so much that you're going to realize it hasn't done anything for me. Nothing is here to save me. Nothing will save me. So it's kind of a period of mourning the loss of this so-called illusory savior. There is no savior that's going to come save you. There is a spirit, there is a God, and it is within you, and you've never been ever separate from it. And when you align with that, when you realize that, when you get pointed inward and not outward, you begin to see it's been here. right here within you this whole time, in your own consciousness, within your own spirit here within you. It's been seamless. It hasn't been separate from you. It hasn't been something you had to go obtain. It hasn't been something that you had to go follow some rules for. It hasn't been something that you've had to pay money to obtain or anything like that. It's been free, and it's been sitting here within you this whole time. But you've been so scared to think that you were your own savior, that you were looking everywhere for what was already hidden within. And so what's coming through is oftentimes, I'm looking for my keys, or I'm looking for my phone. And I'm sure many of y'all have probably had this experience where you're looking for this thing, and all of a sudden you're looking everywhere, and you get so tired and exhausted when you suddenly realize it's in your pocket. It's in your back pocket, it's in your shirt, it's somewhere right on you, and you're like, whoa, and you just start laughing. You might even start crying because it's just so hilarious, or it's exhausting, the fact that you were carrying it all along. And so realizing that God is within and has never been apart from you, has never left you, has always loved you, is a realization that is really strong. And it can also be funny at the same time, because you realize you've been exhausting yourself for nothing. It's been here all along, right here within you. It hasn't been anywhere. You didn't have to do anything to obtain it. It was already here. So when you have this realization, you're going to regain all of your power. So before, when you're looking for the savior outside of yourself, you're powerless. You're waiting for something to come save you, because literally you feel like there's nothing within you or anywhere around you that's part of you that can currently save you, because you haven't explored yourself. You haven't been there. You haven't had the experience of that. But when you do get pointed inward, because there's nothing left outside of you, you begin to see the power within. And it's a power that is greater than anything you will ever experience outside of yourself anywhere. It's a power that will help you to be resilient, to move forward. It's an intuitive power. It's a loving, unconditional power that you have been seeking this whole time. That unconditional love that you've been seeking has been right here within you. So when you access that, you become a powerhouse. And this isn't an egotistical thing. This is a thing about you. Experience that is an individual experience. And when you have that experience of that powerhouse, you feel that within you. You feel the freedom to be who you are. You feel the freedom to do the things that are within you. You feel the freedom to be who you're meant to be here. So what happens? You begin to activate creator mode. And so your energy is no longer suppressed or depressed or any of that. Your energy is free flowing. It's flowing everywhere. It's flowing so much that, ideas come to you. People come to you to come help, to come help you, or, and this isn't a savior thing. It's just you're attracting everything that is meant for your reality. And you begin to feel everything that you've ever wanted to feel within you, that love. It's already here within you. There's a wellspring of it right here. And so when you have that, like I say, you enter creator mode. And so you're free to be who you are, have the experiences here on this earth that you want to have, create the things that you want to create here on this earth, whatever that happens to be. You want to open an antique store, you love antiques. You want to cook, you want to create things for others, you want to start some new technology. Whatever it is that is within your heart, it's now going to be able to be unleashed, to be able to expand itself into this reality, and not just be an idea that you're waiting on someone else to fund, someone else to help you with, someone else to get involved with. You don't need answers from anyone else. You'll begin to have your own ability to walk forward with these things. So this is a great revelation. So if you have just experienced a revelation for yourself, give me a thumbs up and begin to ask yourself a very powerful question. What could I do? What is my next step? Now that I have experienced what is true freedom, what could I do to take the next step to create the reality that I want to create? So you're no longer trapped in waiting for anything. We're not waiting for anything. You're free. The shackles are gone. What is your next step? That is the question I'd like to pose to you. So the other thing that came through before we kind of wrap up here this conversation was that I was shopping for Christmas gifts, and I'm sure, if y'all celebrate Christmas or something like that, you might be doing the same. And my daughter wants certain things for Christmas, and like one of the things that she wanted, I noticed was already sold out somewhere, and it was already sold out at another place and another place. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to get it. Now I come from a different kind of time when we used to go to stores and actually like go look for the items, and if they didn't have it, we'd go to another store and look for it there, and if they didn't have it, then we'd go to another town where that store was and look for it there, or call someone that lived further away and look for this thing. Well, what happened was this thing wasn't available. But what was available? The internet, online shopping. So what I did was I looked for it and I was able to find it online. Yes, it took a little bit of searching, but not very much. Not as much as it would take to drive to a different mall, to drive to another town. So what's happening here is that there's an abundance of energy. There's an abundance of time, an abundance of resources for right now. If you feel like you're limited, like you don't have the money, like you don't have the ability for some reason, I want to tell you that there is an abundance of resources right now. The simple fact that we have an abundance of time, that we don't have to be driving around everywhere to get these Christmas gifts or anything like that. Do you realize how much time that saves? Now, I know this because I used to drive around looking for all of these things. I used to even go to Black Fridays and stand in line and, fight amongst people trying to get this or that. That no longer has to happen. Everything is easy now. There's an abundance of time. There's an abundance of resources. I used to dream of the days, and I had it in my mind already as an idea of the grocery pickups. Even before that ever occurred, I would tell my husband about it. I would say, wouldn't it be nice if we could just, send our grocery list to the store and they could have everything ready for us to pick up? Now that became a reality a few years ago, or maybe several years ago now. And that is something that I use, and it saves me a ton of time. I don't have to go into the store. I don't have to spend all this time driving to the store. I live in a rural area. So, I do have to drive to go pick it up, but I mean, essentially I don't have to do like a lot of trips. I just go to this one place and they have my whole grocery order. If you live closer, I live in a rural area, they'll even deliver this stuff for you. So we have an abundance of time. We have an abundance of resources. There is a lot of, resources. You may say, oh, I'm limited in funds and money. There is a lot of ways to make money. There is a lot of ways to bring that to you. You can make money just from home now. You don't even have to go out anywhere. It's so much easier to start your own businesses now. There's so many different opportunities out there. So do not limit yourself. See yourself as abundant. Look at all the abundance around you. Any little thing, just like I realized there was abundance in being able to online shop. Anytime you see this, be grateful for it. Realize it, and you will begin to manifest more and more of it. Those things that are meant for you will just land in your lap. So I want to encourage you today to get into your creator mode, to move forward. And if you still find yourself trying to seek for that savior, remember this video. Remember what I talked about here in this video. So if this video resonated with you, give me a thumbs up, a heart, comment down below how it resonated with you. Share this video with others that you think it might resonate with. And before we close up here today, I just wanted to invite you personally to a new training that I have created. It's called the Intuition Training. This is a training that I have been working on for about a year. It's a very close to my heart sort of training. I've done a lot of really trying to make this fun, interactive, real-time results, lasting results of you connecting with your intuition, of you getting into a community, a small container with myself and others, and walking through this, step by step, really accessing what's within. So if this sounds good to you and you'd like to sign up, I already have the sales page available. It just came out today. So I'm going to link that down below in my description and in my comment section. I would love to have you as part of this training. We will be starting in the later part of January. It is all through our platform Teachable that I've used in the past. And so everything that we do is either live or it could be recorded, and you can find it on there if you cannot come to the actual live sessions. There's interactive other times that we can work one-on-one. It's a very supportive training, just like my other trainings in the past. So I want to encourage you today, if your heart is speaking to you, if it's saying, hey, this is what I want to do, I want to take this course, go ahead and email me at schoolofscarlett@gmail.com, or go ahead and just jump right ahead and enroll for this course through the sales page today. This is another thing about just like the online shopping. It's so easy now to connect with others. I live in Texas, but you might live in India. I've had people from all over the world, from India, from Poland, from Germany in my courses, and you could be anywhere in the world and we could be connecting at the same time through our live sessions, and we can be working together. Where before you had to maybe travel somewhere to see someone, to sit with them, to work on things, you can now do this instantly just by joining a course like this. So take advantage of all the resources and abundance around you that are coming up in your reality. Thank you so much for watching and staying to the end. If you're new here, please subscribe, come back. I have daily messages coming for you. I love you all, and I will catch you on our next message.